Hey everybody, I am back. It's been 12 years since I posted a little video on YouTube about voice use, and it seemed to resonate with quite a few people, but at the time, my focus was elsewhere. So I was studying speech pathology, then I became a speech pathologist, then I worked as a speech pathologist for 10 years. So it was something where I just kind of went, oh, whatever, not a big deal. Not really something I'm going to follow up. But I am back because I recently rewatched it, and it made me reflect on a lot of things that have been stewing in the back of my brain around heavy voice use, people who use their voices all the time in really tough scenarios, and not really having any guidance, any assistance, anything around how do we look after our voice and how do we make our voice the best that it can be. And I noticed that there was also a massive disconnect between speech pathology, where we get involved when there is a problem, where there is pain, where your voice has suddenly disappeared and it doesn't come back, where there's pathology, so something like vocal nodules, for example. That's when speechies tend to get involved. But we're not really involved so much in preventative care. And the other thing is that, for those of you who may not know, I also worked as an actor for a while, and I went through acting school. I also trained as a singer before that. So I also know that there's a whole massive amount of knowledge around voice use that's around making your voice the best it can possibly be. But that's not really something that's used so much by the more health medical community because it doesn't really address a diagnosis or a problem. So there's this kind of disconnect between the idea of, all of this amazing knowledge of how we can make our voice incredible, how we can make it fill a room, how we can make it so clear and so commanding or calm or have all of these amazing qualities to it. And then also at the same time, not preventing problems before they happen. So this has been on my mind, particularly given that as a speech pathologist, I worked in schools for 10 years. So I worked in high schools, I worked in primary schools. I have seen what teachers have to deal with. I know what the average teaching day, for example, is like. So I have seen heavy voice users in the wild. And I experienced it myself. I went from being in acting school where I could do an hour warm up every morning. And there was lots of stretching. There was lots of finding my resonance. There was lots of, imitating a mosquito. There was a lot of that kind of thing going on, and it would be prioritized as part of the day. When I got into the work world, all of a sudden I noticed my voice started to struggle. When I started working as a speech pathologist, where you're having to talk all day, and I wasn't doing my great big fancy warm-ups all the time, I noticed that my voice took a toll. It really did start to struggle a bit. And so I started to incorporate things that were, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, things that would take care of my voice, ways in which I could keep an eye out for problems, and also ways in which I could optimize my voice. So really make it the best that it could possibly be. And that's why, this is a great big tangent, I do apologize, but that's why I've come back. I want to start doing a series of practical strategies for heavy voice users. I want to look after your voice. I want it to be the best that it can possibly be. So it's not just about preventing vocal nodules, although yes, those are great to prevent. We don't particularly want to have to take 6 weeks off work and potential surgery. We don't really want that. But also about going, how can I have an incredible voice that will improve my day and my world? So let's do it. You know the general deal. I really don't want to have to say like and subscribe, but here I am saying it. But the big one, like and subscribe if you want to, go for it, but whatever. The big one, comment. Let me know the things that are a struggle for you in your voice use right now, because that's what I want to know about. And we can work it out together. We can work it out. Let's do it, everybody.